right, so I just left the funeral of Derek Ramey. Derek Ramey was a musician that I played with at multiple locations like Ponko Chicken and Sweet Georgia Juke Joint. Before his passing, he was kind of coming in and out of the hospital, had heart issues, and we just celebrated the life of him. On the way out, another guy that I know from the scene who knew me, probably a little bit more than I knew him, was talking to me about he didn't think he was going to live as long as he did. He used to smoke cigarettes. He said, yeah, I'm about to turn 70. I said, got any words of wisdom? And he started talking to me about sugar and food. So I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. So with that, I just, thinking about his death and going to that funeral just makes me reflect on my father's death and the situations that came out of that. It also reminded me of when I used to work out in the field. So in my day job, I used to work in the schools, and there's this older guy, and one of the most attractive things about this guy, pause, right, was he spoke like a father to me. He had the age on him. He had to have been close to my dad's age, and it was that type of energy that made me just want to sit and listen to him, because that energy and that presence, I don't get a lot of that, and to have that sort of father energy for me just sort of reveals to me that even though one would consider me an adult, I still need that father guidance energy stuff, and that guy had that there, and it just reminds me of the importance of fathers. Even despite what I see on social media, there's not an emphasis on celebrating fathers. Honestly, I hear more negative things than I do hear about positive things on fathers on the internet. And it's and I've had my questions, and that's the thing about death. Death, there may be questions that you'll never get answered. And, sometimes death can show you who people really are. Death can either bring you closer together with your family or push you apart, or make you say, hey, you know what? I tolerated you because your dad was alive. I tolerated this negative behavior of yours and this abusive behavior of yours because you were alive. And now he's gone now, and so no longer am I tolerating abuse and under the impression that that's what makes him happy, because so long as we don't have an issue with each other, or so long as I don't react or respond to the negative that you do, and you see us together, that makes you happy. And the mistake is that making dad happy was a higher priority than my own happiness. And on top of that, having a father sometimes not holding his own child accountable can cause damage later on in life. So, and it just makes me think about, wow, what kind of dad would I be? Because there are demons that I'm wrestling with now that I'm trying to get out of my life. One of them is obesity and health. I still deal with leg issues, foot issues. I stopped running because of I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing more damage, and it just sucks. And then it's just a repeat message of obesity, and I have to look up the statistics, but I think I should look that up. As far as between white men and black men, like both races in this country have obesity in them. But I believe that there's a greater percentage of black men who struggle with obesity than white men. I see more older white men in the gym in an African American saturated city, it's an African American majority city than I do black men in the gym. So it just sort of makes me think about it and just reflect on my dad, because he had heart issues, and this guy that passed, he had heart issues. And a lot of these heart issues can affect you at a much younger age than at an older one because of diet choices and lifestyle and all of that. And it's just a frustrating thing, because I like the foods, I like the sugary drinks, I like all that, and I still want to break that chain. Even though I was supposed to do this like 4 or 5 years ago, I still stand at a stance of, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to make these changes, and I can. And it's just going to take work, but I don't plan to be a big guy for the rest of my life. I just, like I said, I just don't want to add to that thing. And it's just like, I see it in person, and I see a lot of us struggle with this obesity thing. And then I'm paying attention to older guys, and I'm also paying attention to younger guys, and I'm also paying attention to the mindsets of things, and how, and like a close friend of mine, like he's doing his own thing, but he's not going out, and he feels uncomfortable going out. And the reason I know that is because there's always sort of like a reason not to go out and do things. There's always a reason to not step out of your comfort zone. And I was the same way, because I'll do a salsa class now that I lost a little bit of weight. And I remember the first time I went to a salsa class, I felt uncomfortable. You know what though? And on top of that, I see how women respond to me too in the workplace. Because like, if you're coming out the parking lot, I've seen it. I know it's a difference, man, because if I get out of the car in the parking lot and there's a woman there that's dressed to go to work, and they just kind of look at you and don't say nothing, but they see you there and they don't say nothing, when the majority of the time they usually say something, but it's like, oh, okay, you one of those. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't want to say nothing. Okay. I really do think people are treated differently as larger people in this world. I really do. I believe there's a difference, man. And I believe there's a difference in life. I believe that. I see it. And, you know, I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube talking about, well, you know, before, I watch a lot of before, like I'm tired of watching them because I've watched so many of them, where they talk about life before they lost weight and life after they lost weight. Some do get surgery. I have mixed feelings about surgery. I have mixed feelings about surgery. But I just know that things are different. I can't say it perfects your life, but I think it makes it better. I think it makes you feel better about yourself. I think it makes you feel better. Like, for instance, camping. I want to go camping. How can I go camping if I'm almost 500 pounds? And on top of that, how many 500-pound people do I see going on these camping trips I'm looking at going on? You got to be able to get up. You're going to be outside. You got to be able to get up. You got to be able to move. Like, I went with someone to like to a gorge, and that person was struggling. That person was struggling, and I was accommodating, but that person was really struggling and didn't have the cardio. Like I said, it's like there's so many things out there that you can access, but you can access a little bit more if you're more in shape, because it's a hard world, and the world caters to those and is set up for those people who are, you know, able to move. And I don't want to stay locked out of things because of my weight. It's just a weird thing, but that's my thoughts for the day. I'm running. I'm going to this rehearsal. I just came from a funeral. Now I'm going to a rehearsal. And then after that, I want to go home and work on some weight resistance bands or something. I got to do something. I got to do something. So I'll see y'all later. Let's go ahead and get this going.